A word for our listeners. Season 2 of Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It's not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerds Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Rob Walker, Phil Durham, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Justin Kimmett, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Phil.
It's still a little weird to be first.
Bobby.
Having a great time.
And Shirley.
Hello.
See how I modified it to having a great time since he modified my name?
See how quickly I said it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I just
We all need
realized
pats on the back right now.
Yes.
now it's going to have to be Philly, Bobby,
No.
and Shirley.
Felina. You've established that you really like the name Felina,
Felina.
whatever that means.
I do like the name Felina. It's the female form of Phil.
Every time someone asks, so what
Felina.
podcast are you on? I go, Massive Nyarlathotep. And they go, what the hell? And I say, Nyarlathotep. And they're like, I'm like, I'll just link the damn thing.
Yeah, I saw that you shared it today. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to whenever I could. I'm not on Facebook
Unlike
often.
Phil.
Well, I'm not on Facebook often. And so, like, I'm trying to kind of like keep off of social media a little bit because
It helps.
yeah, it makes life a little more tolerable.
Yes, it does.
That's why if it's not like a video about cooking food or kittens, I just keep scrolling.
I have quit the Facebook. I'm only marginally on the Twitter and not on the Instagram or the Snapchats or
Man.
things I don't even know about.
We live in a postmodern world that really requires us to be like interactive with social media when we have a kind of production like this. And so I feel bad that I'm not involved in that. But at the same time, we're also living in a world where it is so politically divisive that I'm like, if I'm on social media, I just get angry. So it's better for me in terms of my
cooking and cats.
yes.
That otherwise keep scrolling.
Yeah,
That's my rule.
I go to Reddit, so I do social media through Reddit.
Sure. I guess that's a type of social media. I never thought of Reddit like that.
It's a targeted forums, and they're very specific about the things they talk about.
Yes.
And so I can go and I can look at my Nintendo news and my gaming news and what's happening with Monster Hunter.
Did you see the release of the Pokemon Go Pikachu and Eevee map?
Yes, sir.
Did you notice that it's just Gen 1?
It is exactly Kanto. And as a matter of fact,
I'm okay with that.
They posted on Reddit where they overlaid the two maps together.
Oh, I did not see that.
And you can see the routes are exactly the same. It's
I'm okay with that.
Really cool.
I can take an updated Kanto.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Anyways, we're off track.
And that has been our video game segment on Masks of Nyarlathotep.
So we are real people, and it's good that every once in a while our listeners get to realize that we are real people. So we do have hobbies that aren't.
3 of the 4 of us are real people.
I am mostly a soulless demon, but that is, that's pretty accurate. We'll go with that.
So we are currently in a hostage situation where Astor has taken himself hostage, which is interesting. So let's pop over to
I've taken myself hostage.
Brian.
Legit.
Brian, you hear off in the distance someone in German say, "Come on out. We know somebody's in there. You know it's not at the temple though. It's coming from outside, probably a different building." And a few minutes later, you hear it repeated at the entrance to the temple. You can see the outline of 3 men. All of them have flashlights, and they're kind of slowly scanning the inside of the temple, looking for someone.
Is the temple big enough, or is there just am I in a position where I believe I will?
They may eventually come through and look through the whole thing. You have put yourself in a position where you can't be seen from the doorway. You're far enough back, but you probably will be seen eventually if they continue the search.
Then until they come in, if they're just outside and shining flashlights in, and I'm confident they're not going to see me, I make no response.
Sure. They check the front entryway, can see that there's another back room, and they slowly, methodically take their time coming in and checking behind every pillar. They have their guns up, but not pointed at anybody, and they come back slowly. It's clear they're going to come back to you.
Okay, so when I start see them kind of methodically doing so, and it's dark inside the temple?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to try to, since they got flashlights and I'm not creating any light,
Right.
so they're going to stand out like real obvious to me.
Yeah.
Move around, especially because they're methodical, avoiding their lights, and I'm going to start trying to taking them out with my R2D2 knife, kind of come up behind them and go.
Sure. Roll fieldcraft.
Do you have an R2D2 knife?
Yeah.
I
You
do.
also, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I got a 50 under 77 for fieldcraft.
50 under 77. So you sneak behind them without much of an issue, and you can. They are close enough that if you drop one, they're going to notice. They're close enough to each other. As in, even if you silently kill this person, they're going to fall holding a flashlight, and it's going to become very erratic, and the other two people are going to look over and notice that person has fallen over, and they're going to will quickly become aware that he's dead.
I.e., it's not Metal Gear Solid.
That's fine. I'm not necessarily concerned that they're going to recognize that I took one of them out, but do I feel that I can? Does my character, like, based on the situation, because you have this situation
Yeah.
yet, would you think that my character is confident that he can kind of do that and move off when they come to investigate that person? I'm like not going to get caught having done it. Like I don't mind them knowing me that I'm
They
here.
are as close to each other as you and I are to each other. So when it's not that they're going to have to move over to check. They're going to turn and see.
Methodically searching the room
They're
in a single unit.
They're methodically searching the room with their flashlights. So they're like sweeping areas, and then when they hit a pillar, one of them will look with their flashlight behind that pillar. They're not just like three guys going off in different directions. You could sneak, now that you've snuck past them, you could sneak out and maybe get out and away from them. But if you try and kill one of them, if you kill one of them, when you kill one of them, it may not go, it may be very quick before you're caught yourself.
Okay. Do I recognize if they're Nazis or Egyptians?
Roll spot hidden at half.
My head, while he's rolling that, is
I didn't make it a normal.
It's the old cartoons where people would run in of one door and out the other door,
Yeah.
crisscrossing each other's paths.
That's exactly how this is working.
Yeah.
No. So you can't really tell. It sounds like the guy in the middle is the one talking because he keeps repeating himself, and he sounds German to the best of your knowledge, but your German is not perfect. It's
29.
It's enough that you can speak it, but it's not like you'd be able to pick out where he's from by his accent.
Okay, so if I'm not metagaming, then I just want to make sure that I'm not using information that I don't
No,
have.
you're fine.
I know there were two that I shot both of them. They called for a medic. So I don't necessarily know that there are Egyptians versus Germans.
That's true.
I mean, I could have, but I failed on determining that
Absolutely.
right there.
Yeah.
And I don't have an idea of numbers. And I heard, did the voice that I heard at the other place, because you said I heard one at a different place.
Right.
And then they came here.
It sounds like the exact same guy, to the best of your knowledge.
I've snuck past them. I will now try to sneak out.
Okay. You get to the mouth of the temple entrance. Are you going out?
Well, I presume there's no place I can hide here.
No, I mean I'm more asking like, are you going straight out and then going to hide out in the sand, or are you going to hide in?
Do I have an idea of which of possibly which building they previously
Roll
searched based on
idea.
hearing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I get where you're coming from. Roll idea and we'll find out.
No.
Okay, so then you're not sure. There are a couple buildings out here that they could have been at. It could be either one, which means you have a 50-50 chance that they have.
I'll just pick whichever one I think I can get to easier then, if I'm not sure which one.
Roll luck for me.
For those that don't watch, Phil often swaps his dice.
It's not helping him right now.
No, because I failed my luck.
Okay, and then roll Fieldcraft one more time for me.
There he swapped again.
98. These dice are stone cold.
So you get about halfway between the temple and the other building, and you hear halt from like a distance away. And you look over, and there are a couple of Egyptians and a German. I'm sorry, a couple of Egyptians and a European. You assume is German.
What language is he?
German.
Okay.
All kind of have their rifles raised kind of in your direction.
What are they? Are they at tuba? Are they?
No, they are full, like,
They're pointed at me?
prepared to fire if need be.
And I am not in cover at this point. I'm out in the open.
You are very much out in the open.
Okay. 3-1, out in the open. And what did he say?
Halt.
I stop. They're to my back.
Kind of off to your side.
Which side?
Left.
Okay. Brian's right-handed. Okay.
So he motions and the two Egyptians come forward. They kind of lower their guns into they raise their guns into more of a ready position. But
The German's got his gun on me.
Yeah.
So, all right. I didn't have the Lotus drink, and the only thing I'm carrying from Evelyn is ammunition.
Somebody has Ehrlichman's journal, and that's either you or
No, she said she was still carrying that on her.
you have that on you. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. Don't
She
worry
made
about
very
it.
clear that that was still on her body, even though she doesn't have it back.
I assume you have your own personal journal as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have written down in it how to make the sleepy tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's not tea so much. It's like
I wrote it down right here.
no, I mean, but in your journal. You
No,
would have
I
noted.
know what
Okay.
you mean,
I'm
yes.
verifying what's in your journal.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Phil.
so just that, we're on the same page.
Sure.
Blake is in a situation which he feels it's unlikely that he could fight his way out.
Your best bet would be to maybe get one of these guys in the way and hope that he gets shot enough while you run. But that's unlikely.
But then I'm running into the desert where I'm going to die.
Yeah.
As they start to approach, because I've had my pistol in my hand,
Sure.
kind of do that thing where you kind of hold it by the handle or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very bottom, so you're not like actually pointing it or whatever. Kind of raise my hands and have the gun out. And
Sure.
surrender it.
One of the Egyptians comes and takes it. Is it a revolver? Or it's a
No.
Webley, isn't it?
Yes, it's an automatic revolver.
Yeah. So he takes it and opens the drum out and shakes out the bullets, closes it, and like puts it in its holster on you.
Okay.
And then he holds out his hand. It's an Egyptian, and you hear the German say, "Give him the rest of your ammunition, please."
In my best German, I will say I would need to get into my pack.
Slowly.
Okay. Where's my R2D2 knife?
That's a good
Is
question.
it's like in a holster or something?
I would assume it's like on your sleeve, on your ankle, or at your side. Probably one of those.
I will slowly go into my pack and surrender by mine and any ammunition I'm carrying for Evelyn.
Okay. So he's like got his arms full now. No, he takes it. He says, "Okay, come back with us to the truck." or to
If
the
I'm
vehicles?
Well, I don't have good German, so I'll just say yes.
Okay. And then he
Da.
waits for you to come to him. Da. He waits for you to come to him, and then the Egyptians kind of follow behind you.
I've still got my arms up in the air, but yeah.
Oh, put those down. You're not a prisoner. Come.
I'm not a prisoner, but I can't speak that German. Never mind.
No prisoner mean what?
Really? Question mark? Yeah. Okay.
You know, I would.
I won't get sassy with the guy.
If it were
German.
modern day, you could just speak in emojis at him.
Yeah.
At a 29, you would understand at least really, or like.
I know I get the idea, but I can't be like
I mean, you wouldn't
play
underst-
nuances.
You probably
or
wouldn't understand.
assassin.
Well, you
or-
probably wouldn't understand prisoner.
Yeah, no, not at 30%. So keeping in mind that you speak, your language is equal to your knowledge, and your knowledge comes directly from your education. Most people at this time that have not graduated high school are at a 10 education, which means that their language is at a 20%.
Oh dang.
So,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
you would.
20 or 30, like, he doesn't speak great German, and he probably can't affect any kind of, accent of any kind of German, but he's got most of the broader concepts. So, prisoner, he could carry on most conversations. It's going to be like, let me tell you about this physics paper. He'll be like, I understood the word paper and tell you about. I'm out. Like, it's going to be the harder
Gotcha.
non-conversational
Okay.
stuff.
I'm not reading German poetry or
Right.
plays or
Right, and if you did, you may not get you might understand what it's saying, but you might not get the context of what's being
The
said.
nuance,
Yeah.
right.
So,
Oh, well, I'm doing pretty good at 50.
yeah, it's gonna be like, I think Shirley's like an 80 or something for German.
I speak yokel Atlantean then. All right.
Local Atlantean. No,
23.
I've got a 66 in Latin, 57 in German, 59 in French,
Yeah. So like
and 1,575 in Italian. Wow. Like, seriously, what is that number?
I don't. Why do you have 1575 in Italian? Please fix that. I'm pretty sure you have a 15 in Italian. You do not have a 1575.
Well, my English is only a 20.
Yeah, you
speak English.
I speak English.
So they walk you back to the vehicles. Evelyn is sitting there. They have pulled out like mobile chairs or stools, and so you've been there for, it's probably been 20 or it's probably been 45, 50 minutes.
She's shaded or in the sun.
They have put up parasols like in the dirt or in the sand. You have been joined by a professor. Her name is Professor Ottilie Esch.
Is this the same lady? No, it's not.
No,
'cause that was
totally
the
different
other
lady.
one. Would you
Professor
cut this out? But can you spell that?
Ottilie, Ottilie.
So it's like Otto, but
Yeah,
female.
it might be Ottilie, but either way, Esch is Eshe.
This is SS professor, not Wolf. Okay.
She
Look at us all taking notes.
Miss October. I know, right? Miss October. She has been delightful and nice and clearly knows about occults and archaeology. You guys are having tea. She is being very friendly.
Okay.
So you were brought back.
Are you being polite back when I come up?
Well,
Yes, we're
okay,
just
sorry.
having.
Give
we're
give
just
yeah
having,
give it
like-
give it 2 seconds. So when you were brought back, she climbed down out of the jeep and motioned, and a couple of men came over and set these stools up and put the
Parasol.
parasols up. They're more like big beach umbrellas at this
Yeah.
point, to shade the two of you. And she tea in German. And then if you don't respond, because you didn't respond to German the first time, just as a reminder, you only responded
Right.
to French. Do you respond to the German?
She says tea in German, and I just kind of look at her quizzically.
She says, she turns to the guy and does she not speak German? He said she spoke in French. And so she turns back in a kind of a broken accent and says, tea in French.
C. No, I say yes.
So she has it brought over. There's a little table. They bring out some pastries, like some nice food, and then she proceeds to have a conversation with you about nothing that's going on here. She's like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet another woman out on a dig. I used to do a digs in here, and I know all about these." And she doesn't require you to engage. Mm-hmm. She has a conversation by herself if you want.
Right.
But she is pleasant.
Right.
She is also wearing appropriate, like similar to your clothes, but she is wearing the insignia of the SS and of rank. You're not familiar with what rank that
Right.
is, but it is very much rank.
Okay. I would engage her about that and
Are you
about.
faking your knowledge, or are you showing her how much you know? Because you're relatively knowledgeable about occult.
Right.
Do you let her know that you know about occult?
I let her know that what I know about archaeology.
What's your archaeology at?
It's alphabetical.
Wow, it's a 16.
Okay, so you let her know. So you it's clear that it's a hobby for you, right?
Right.
Okay, and she picks up on that, and it's not that she's talking down, it's just that she is changing how she talks about it so it's not above your head. Mm-hmm. And she's pleasant the whole time.
To some degree, has to happen because you said that her French isn't great.
Right. And part of that is her French is
Right.
not great. And as you two kind of sit there and talk, about 45 minutes later, Brian comes with a German and 2 Egyptians and seems to have been apprehended as well.
So
And you're clearly having tea with this woman.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, Brian, look.
No. You are
No, what?
you are going by other names. You would not call him Brian.
Well, what name are we going by?
Well, his name
Shannon.
is Shannon O'Reilly. And
Okay,
you are
Shannon.
Samantha Evanston. I assume you went by Samantha Evanston. I assume you did.
Okay.
Your character would have remembered that.
Okay. Well, then I would call you Shannon.
I'm sorry, what was her name?
Samantha.
Samantha.
Okay, yeah, I got that right.
Oh, Shannon, it's good to see that you're unhurt. Our friends here have offered us tea.
And she looks up and says, "If tea's not to your liking, we do have just some cool water as well."
To Samantha, I'll say, I'm glad to see that you are unharmed, Samantha. And to... She hasn't even introduced herself?
Mm-mm.
Okay. To her, I will simply say, I have my canteen.
Are you speaking in French or German?
So thus far,
Do you speak French?
I don't speak French.
What did you speak to him in?
English.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Now we're all on the same page.
I responded to her in English.
Okay,
What
that's fine.
language did...
She would have responded in English then. The
okay, so
professor,
then I'll
yeah.
say, I have my canteen.
Okay.
And very, very curtly.
She motions, and one of the men brings over another stool, and she says, "Please, please join us."
In English?
Yes.
Oh, I should have asked her. Parlez-vous anglais?
Please join us. Take a seat. My men will be ready here shortly. You can roll military doctrine for me.
No, that's a 77 over 10.
Okay.
How do none of us have military doctrine?
Because
I have it plus 5.
Oh, it would be. We know our own ranks. We don't know other militaries.
yeah, it's
Right.
Gotcha.
well, and like you know the French stuff, but by looking at a German soldier, military doctrine should tell you who it is, or by just watching who gives the orders, you should be able to figure out the entirety of the military chain.
Gotcha.
It's also a couple other things like how often they would they would change out guards and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Do you sit down when
No.
the stool's brought? Okay.
I
Do you
will stand
under
in the shade.
That's okay, because that would be dumb.
Close. I'm indignant, but I'm not dumb. I'll stand close to Samantha.
You're also Irish, so shade is probably a help.
Yeah, that's also
helping
very-
thing.
You're also Irish. It was a 2-minute walk. You're already burned.
Yes. Let's be fair.
Kind of maybe behind, beside, maintaining proximity and being very alert, but not sitting down and
Okay.
only minimally responding to any, only kind of as absolutely necessary, minimally responding to anyone besides Samantha.
Okay. We'll pause that for a second. Astor, you have your gun to your own head.
I do.
You're in the room with the guy by yourself.
Yeah.
So he's gonna magic you to murder death.
Sir, you said you wanted to establish a few more things before I brought the professor out. Let's go ahead and get those established. What would you like to establish?
So who's your professor?
Professor Esch,
Studying
Egyptology, primarily.
Egyptology.
Yep.
The SS really wants to work with Egyptology.
Yes.
Yes. Why?
I'm just here to support the professor. You would have to speak with her about that.
What's your rank?
You can't tell.
It's not the question I asked.
I am
direction we are going?
Sturmbannführer, which you know is the equivalent of a major.
A major. Big wigs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fairly high up.
Yeah. It's not terribly high up.
Especially
but-
with SS, though. I mean, that's
Yeah.
okay. Major. I say it pedantically. I don't believe you're out here just studying Egyptology. Why don't you answer some questions? Why don't you tell me what you're studying?
You asked me what she was out here for. I answered the question.
Yeah.
Are you asking me what we're looking for?
Yeah.
We're looking to procure items before other members of another occult organization within Nazi Germany does.
What are you trying to procure?
I am honestly not familiar with what it's called.
Does he seem sincere?
Psychology.
God, it's always alphabetical. No.
Sure, he seems sincere. He leans in. I'm sorry. What name can I call you?
What did I go by?
John.
John. Oh.
John. Yeah. John Cassell. John whatever.
Tim works.
Tim.
Like in English, I say it specifically in English. Like,
Do you say Timothy or just
no,
Tim?
just Tim.
Darn.
Tim. I'm here to make sure the professor doesn't have any problems. There are a lot of questions you might have that I can't in any way, shape, or form answer. My mission is to make sure she gets in and out alive, and to make sure that the Egyptians that are with us don't cause any problems. I think you can tell how I feel about the Egyptians already.
It's your blatant disregard for humanity that really bothers me in this whole situation. I might have cooperated and been fairly straightforward had you not shot someone just willy-nilly. So, I'm not really taking a lot of faith and stock in what it is that you have to say to me.
I hear what you're saying. I find it strange that you would be concerned about my humanity and care for the living when you were going to take one of them hostage and threaten to shoot them in the head.
Ah, but actions. I didn't shoot him in the head. You did.
Right. So, seems like we're both on bad footing here.
Yeah, but I'm the one you need something from. Doesn't that make that a little shitty for you?
Okay. I'd like if you would come back with us to the vehicles. No harm will come to you on the way. No harm will come to you while you're there. I have no interest in harming you.
So I'll tell you what. Let's put a couple little safeguards in place for this. Okay?
Sure.
All right. So my assumption, since I'm not hearing gunshots now, is that you've at least captured and or executed another of my team, of which there are many, by the way. So what I'm going to do is we're going to walk out to your camp, okay?
Sure.
And I'm going to have you nice and close enough that if they try to take a pot shot at me, you're going to be the one that catches it. And you're going to have my gun at your head. And I assure you, my day's been bad enough that give me any reason and I will execute you. I don't have the care for the Nazi life because I don't think of you as human beings. Are we clear?
So you're coming back to the vehicles with me?
No. I'm going to direct you back to the vehicles. You're going to walk in front of me.
So I'm going to walk back to the vehicles. You're going to follow me.
I'm going to be holding you. Very much in a hostage situation.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and go on back then.
Okay, well, pull out your pockets.
He pulls out his pockets.
Nothing falls out, nothing in there.
You know, I honestly don't know what German soldiers would like. He's probably
Cigarettes.
got cigarettes and like thick hard chocolate, the kind of stuff that you would have.
Okay, now take off your belt. Take off your
Okay.
belt.
He undoes his belt and takes it off.
All right, I'm going to take it from him, and I'm going to cinch his hands behind his back very tight.
Okay.
Okay? Now we can go.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold him hostage on the walk.
Okay. So he
And he's going to be in a position where he's a body shield.
Sure. So he walks outside. A couple of his men are across in the shade of another building, kind of watching. Their guns are like leaning next to the building next to them.
I'm going to keep directing the men back out in front, so as everyone I pass by needs to come out and away from their position.
How are you? So you
I'm going to, in German, I'm going to direct, and I'm not going to move forward until they comply.
as you start to direct them, he just says, "Back to the vehicles, please, quickly." And they pick up their weapons and start heading that
And
way.
I'm going to yell at them to leave their weapons.
That's military hardware. I can't leave that in the desert.
No. They're going to leave their weapons.
Okay.
This guy doesn't like me.
No.
Leave your rifles, I guess. And they put their guns back down and start heading off towards the vehicles.
Okay. We'll just continue down that path, doing that thing until.
Oh, no. Once he gives the order the first time, it's the last time you see anybody.
Perfect.
Okay. You kind of crest a little bit of a dune
Okay.
to where the vehicles are parked. You see that there are a couple of umbrellas out with a woman in an SS uniform sitting, or in inappropriate desert clothing with the SS symbols
Right.
on her chest, sitting speaking with Evelyn. And then behind Evelyn is Brian standing. Evelyn seems to be having tea.
Okay. It's not going to comfort me. I'm not going to come down and come from an untensed position.
There are several men kind of milling about.
I mean, again, it's the direction is going to be continue to clear the path. And
Well, no,
out
they're
of-
like milling about at the vehicles.
Yeah, it's going to be. The command will be for them to move out and get away. And it's going to stay that way until we get to the tent. I don't want anyone nearby.
There's no tent.
Or the parasol.
Brian has a big grin on his face when he sees you doing this.
The men don't seem to move.
And then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to push the gun up against his head pretty aggressively.
Tim, their orders are to be here. There's nothing that they need to leave for.
Yeah. No.
We're
There is.
we're
I know.
a few meters away from the professor.
I
In
know
fact,
what
why
the
don't we
Germans
just
do.
why don't we just stay here, Professor? Could you join us,
I know. The professor can stay right there for now.
Tim?
Listen to me. You're not in a position to dialogue this. My friend over there is unarmed, and my friend over there is unarmed, and we're going to rectify that situation right this second.
No, they both have their weapons.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm sure you didn't leave them with bullets and loaded weapons. I'm not an idiot.
Yes. So, unless you're going to shoot me, we can either have the professor come over here, or you can relax just a little bit, and we can go down there. Those are your two options. I'm not taking this any further.
So I tilt the gun just a little bit.
Hold on. What, Phil?
Do I hear this? what
You
language
can
is
roll listen. Yeah. You guys are speaking in French, English. You guys are speaking English. Go ahead and roll listen.
They're speaking in English?
Yeah, that's what you were speaking in, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That seems to be the common ground.
I passed my listen. Yeah.
Yeah, you're picking up most of it. I mean, it's a little far. You keep hearing
So-
the German calling Tim.
As this is going on, I'm going to pull out my knife and start like approaching one of. Do I see the guy who has my ammo
Yes.
and start approaching him?
So you were saying, Phil, or would you,
I've got the gun up against his head,
and you're
and
gonna
I'm starting to pull the trigger enough that he can hear it, like, in motion.
You realize if you pull the trigger, you and your friends are dead.
And then you don't get the information you're looking for from us. I don't see a lose here. I was going to die either way fighting you stupid assholes.
Professor, do they really wish to die? And the professor looks at you, Evelyn, says, do you think that we could perhaps help them and diffuse this situation? Like, is this not something we could just have a nice conversation about? We could sit down, perhaps discuss this as we have been doing thus far. Evelyn. And she calls you Evelyn. You've never used the name Evelyn.
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 Wow, no.
You've never used the name Evelyn with her. She calls you very clearly Evelyn. I'm surprised that your scarred friend Carlos isn't here with you. But it doesn't matter. We've searched the entirety of the town. It is the three of you. As it was the three of you that left the boat on the way here. As it was the three of you in Cairo in the debacle outside the museum. All I'm asking is for a conversation.
As an odd note, I've been holding the gun up to the guy's head, actually in person, holding my arm up against the guy's head the whole time.
And I finally noticed it. Like, even though I moved away from you and your presentation,
For whatever reason, it helped me stay with that. You can pursue, I'm sorry.
it's the immersion.
Miss October, I think that we are working on a similar goal. It would be a shame if we all died here. The Major has much more patience than most officers. But I believe his patience has run out. And dying for Hitler's cause is something that an SS is happy to do. I wouldn't want to see all three of you die. Shirley, would you like to roll idea?
No, I have a couple ideas.
Okay.
You've heard all this, though, Blake.
She looks at.
I already said I was taking my knife out and trying to go get the ammo.
No, you've heard what she said. You heard the conversation, too, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop me from going to get the ammo.
I know. I was just
Yeah,
making
okay.
a note.
Yeah, I assume I don't need to listen for that. I was right.
No, you're right there.
Yeah.
She looks at
you might need to
Ash,
listen to her,
and
but-
then she turns around and looks at Blake, and just matter of factly says, Blake, we need to defuse this situation if we're getting out of here. And she gets up to start walking toward Astor.
Brian, the professor speaks up. Brian, may I call you Brian? Mr. Blake.
Is she like along the path that I'm going to
Nope.
the guy?
Nope.
I ignore her.
Miss October, I believe that you've lost both your men. This could end very poorly for you.
Also, for the record,
Yeah.
we're in Egypt, so I'm in charge?
Sure, yeah, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, at this point, you're in charge, period.
Okay.
There's nobody else.
I thought in France he was in charge.
Oh, yeah, that's true. In France, he's in charge.
I was pointing at Astor.
We
for
always
the
know that goes
listeners.
bad.
Yep.
So I just start calling out to Astor, and I'm like, Astor, just put the gun down. They know who we are.
That doesn't make me happier. That really didn't help the situation. The gun's not down.
It would be ridiculous for all of us to die here.
Would it? I'll take a Nazi with me.
It would be ridiculous for me to die here.
Well, then what kind of outfit did you sign up for?
Is this all in character?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you continuing?
Oh, yeah. Until I get some indication that Astor has changed his positioning, And I'm not like being like slow about it. I'm not like running either, but I'm like determined, like power walking. Like
Okay.
I'm getting my
So
ammo.
I'm like, Evelyn, stop. This is not a game. Stop.
Exactly. This
Listen
isn't
to
a game.
shush and listen. Professor, you are currently at the advantage because you have all your men and you're all armed. You want to equalize the footing so we can have a dialogue? Then let my people get armed. That's what I'm asking. And then we can have a dialogue.
Mr. Blake is currently carrying a knife, walking towards one of my men. If he is not armed, I don't know what he is.
He does not have the tactical advantage, and you know it. Let him have his firepower, let her have her firepower, and then we can dialogue.
And you will unbind the major?
On good faith, yes.
Then tell Mr. Blake to sit down. We will have his ammo brought to him nicely.
Soldier that's holding it right now can drop it. Mr. Blake
Do you
can-
really want it in the sand? That doesn't sound like a good idea. Mr. Fournier?
It's in a bag. No, I'm asking out of character. It's in a bag.
No, he handed you have no idea where it's at. So it would be
Gotcha.
just like, have Mr. Blake sit down. Have Mr. Blake sit down, and it will be given to him by an unarmed man.
I'm going to look to Blake for a second.
Blake, I assume you stopped at this point.
Yes.
Because you're probably within lunging distance of the guy that has your ammo. Or had your ammo, at least.
What is? I'm assuming he's not like having his arms
Nope.
cradled. Like
No,
it
no,
must be in a
no.
bag or something.
It must be in a bag somewhere. Or in the back of the truck, or something.
He'll give a small nod to Astor.
All right, once Blake and Evelyn are armed,
And
we're going to put a parasol here.
here where you're at.
No,
currently?
across the way. I'm going to point like across from her,
Okay.
and that's where I'm going to sit.
So like 10 yards away, give or take.
5. It doesn't have to be super far away.
Okay.
but I want a clear line of sight, and then here's how the conversation will proceed. Our guns will be at our sides, not in our hands. Got it?
Okay.
All right. The soldiers will stay clearly unarmed a good distance away. If you want the major with me, the major with you, I don't care. And then we can have a civil conversation.
Okay.
Agree to my terms?
Sure.
Blake and Evelyn, sit down.
Evelyn, did you get up?
Yeah, I was
She was walking towards
toward
me until I
him.
yelled
yeah.
at her.
Okay.
I keep my knife out,
Okay.
and I'll sit down, and I will put my knife into the sand where I can easily grab it.
Sure.
Because presumably that's easier than putting it in my holster when I'm sitting down.
We'll just assume that it's somewhere easily for you to easily access it.
Okay.
Sure. A man, one of the Egyptians who is no longer armed, comes over and picks up the second parasol that the three of them are not under, moves it to about the area you said, and puts it down. Another one comes and grabs a couple of stools and puts them there. And then another one brings over a little table with canteen cups and puts a canteen down, and all three of them walk away from it. The major just slowly, not like he's not running, he just as though he's going to start walking down that way. The soldier that disarmed you comes over, slowly reaches down to grab your gun, pulls it out. Do you stop him?
I will put out my hand for my ammunition.
He backs away and hands you, I assume, a magazine and whatever you gave him of
Yeah.
yours and hers.
Right.
And then another one comes over, Evelyn, and puts the two magazines that were taken and then a single bullet down on the table in front of you. And they back away, and then they go back over and lean against the trucks. Their guns are not in hands; they're just sitting there, or standing there, not doing anything else.
I load my pistol
Sure.
and
Chamber one.
chamber one, and then put it back into my holster.
Or I guess you don't chamber one since it's a
It's
revolver.
It's an automatic revolver. I haven't actually looked at the gun. I probably should, but yeah.
Evelyn,
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you load your gun?
Yes.
Excellent.
Do you stop the Major?
No, I reached down to unbind him.
Okay. He
And then I let
rubs
him-
his wrists,
And I hand him his belt back.
adjusts his clothing that's probably been riding up a little bit.
Right.
He starts to slowly put on his belt as he's walking down to the two stools.
Okay.
And then when he gets there, he just sits down. He doesn't look back at you, doesn't seem concerned about your position.
Right. I think I made my demands
yeah.
clear. I've been fairly clear with where I'm going to go with this.
The professor motions. Please, Mr. Fournier, join us.
So I take a seat.
So, I believe that, Mr. Fournier, since you seem to be in command here, there are a couple of things that we should catch you up on. Have you been informed of Mr. Weissler?
I don't remember, have I?
Did you guys catch him about burning down the house?
Wait. The house we burnt when the guy came back to life in Germany?
Yes. Weissler was there.
The first time they went to the Dreamlands?
Yes.
Not Astor,
Yeah.
but okay.
Her, yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I'm not.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
might be in files that you've read, but you certainly haven't met him then.
Right.
So, Mr. Weissler, or I'm sorry, it's not Mr. Weissler is the head of my order. We are the Order of the Black Sun. Your friends burned down a house that he was in, attempting to kill him.
Okay.
Not just him.
That's true.
I didn't say that.
Oh, no, if you could say that. That's fine.
Do you say that?
Actually, yeah, I probably would say that. Not just him.
That's true. They also attempted to kill a woman named Niedzwiecki, as well as...
She says Nitocris, not Nalani.
Not Nalani.
Wow. All right.
As well as other members of the Black Sun, and attendants of the party that had no affiliation with the Black Sun.
With the butt of my gun, because I still got my hand on my holster, I scratch my chest and say, I'm familiar with her, and then put it back. Set it down towards the holster. My hand has not left my gun.
That's good that you've met. Definitely a thing that you have met her. How good is your English? It's like a 20?
That's 20.
So she probably...
I've got German, I've got Italian, I've got
Yeah.
Spanish, I've got Romani, I've got
He
my
doesn't
own
speak
language,
German.
and Atlantean.
No,
he doesn't speak
just-
French.
I don't speak French.
Oh, you do speak German, though.
29. Yes.
Okay. So she has been speaking in German. When it's clear that
Yeah.
he is not following along in French.
I drop all pretenses at that time.
Sure.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah.
That was, let's say, a black eye on the face of the Black Sun, which allowed for a transition of power within another group called the Nachtwolf. And they have become more bold since then. You dealt with the Nachtwolf multiple times, so maybe perhaps not you, Mr. Fournier, but your friends have in an attack on a castle in Germany.
A boat.
A boat.
Yeah. Guy
With the werewolf,
yeah.
the
Oh, yes.
Iron
there
Man
wa-
hands.
That was the very first time.
There was also the situation in Rome. That was also the Nachtwolf. The Nachtwolf believe that what they're looking for will give them more power. They are mistaken about how they're going to use it. We seek the same thing, but I believe we have a better understanding of how it should be used and how ancient Atlantean artifacts are properly handled.
Just remind me, we don't want to use it. We want to stop the Nazis from using it.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's our directive.
Yes, you're supposed to collect the pieces before they can, essentially. So, we would like to stop the Nachtwolf in their current plans here in Egypt, looking for another piece of this Atlantean technology. I believe it's called the Palladium. I say I believe because we do not have the resources that the Nachtwolf has gathered upon about this.
We have one of the pieces, correct?
Yes, well, in Britain.
In
Yeah.
Britain.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we know it can't be used without that piece.
Possibly, you're not. who knows? It's ancient technology. Maybe they could figure out a way to
Power it
supplement without that piece.
I like the Stargate. Gotcha.
Sure. So,
So, Professor, you're here to help us?
look, I spent 8 years in school, plus my time teaching. I am a professor. If you want to perhaps be angry at me about many other things, that's fine. But I am a scholar.
Where did you go to school?
I spent 4 years at Oxford, and then 4 more years at the University of Berlin.
Learning lots of Nazi things.
No, actually, during that time, they didn't teach Nazi things at the University of Berlin. They do now, but not at that time, no.
Oh, okay. You're still working for the Nazis.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So, I don't really give a horse shit.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all very polite.
Well,
I only paused there because I don't know if that's allowed in the recording.
We're into the territory of smack talk and mischief and mayhem. I think we're in the territory of okay with maybe not dropping an F-bomb, but maybe a little coarse language. FYI, there might be coarse language.
the Nachtwolf are digging at an improper site. From what I would gather, the three of you have more occult understanding and a journal that have led you here. Am I incorrect on that?
I don't know.
Miss
I
October,
spent 8
am I
years.
incorrect on that?
Did spend 8 years in academy.
Miss October, are you purposely not answering, Shirley, or did you not realize I asked you a question?
No, I heard you answer me the question. We're unsure as well.
My men followed you from Cairo. And once we realized who you were, it was a matter of following you. You understood what was going on in Rome. I think you understand what's going on here. We only ask that we be able to experience it with you. That's it. If that means sending my men back so that I may join you in the next step, I'll do that. But if I do that, I would ask that you disarm at least 2 of the 3 of you. She, by the way, is carrying. She has no weaponry. Like, she didn't have a whole side holster. Nothing. She does not seem armed.
She would have some kind of undergarment, like full.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no, she's in like safari. Not safari. She's in archaeology gear. She's in like pants and a shirt.
Breeches and a shirt. Okay.
So she probably like she might have something hidden, but it'd be like a derringer, at most. She's not going to stuff a Luger down, her pantaloons.
Will you allow us to discuss your request?
Please. I'd ask that you stay within sight. I wouldn't want you to just, we're totally going to go discuss this and then disappear into the ruins again, and we have to go play out this whole thing again. It's tiresome. But if you wish to have the conversation amongst yourselves, I understand.
I'll just start walking towards Astor. The major's still by Astor?
Yes.
Okay.
The major has been, sipping water. He poured you water as well. Whether you touched it or not, he didn't care.
No, I didn't touch it.
But he has clearly been drinking, his water cup has gone down and he's refilled it. It's warm. It's very hot out. You're in the shade, but,
Right. I mean,
there's only so much that does.
the most I would have done is pulled from my own canteen.
Sure.
Right, because that to me is the safest bet. No, really don't. Even if they're with their own, I don't trust the Nazis.
That's fine. I get it. I'm saying he's extending every courtesy.
Right. I mean, he gave me his belt to tie him up.
You catch more flies with honey
I assume
than
you took your
vinegar.
knife with you.
Oh, yeah, my knife and my
Gun.
my gun.
Okay. So
Which I looked at a picture of it. Yeah, I would. You don't chamber anything, and I would not have cocked it because that does not seem safe.
No, because you hit that thing wrong, it'll go right off. So Blake has gotten up to walk off a distance.
Mostly towards Astor, but since the major's there, not
Right.
directly at him.
Yeah.
Kind of this is the way I'm going, so that we can discuss amongst ourselves.
I would advise your major to not move. That's my advice for now.
He leans back down and grabs his cup, sits back and takes a drink.
He
and
can
then
drink.
Puts it back down he seems unaffected by this conversation. Like it doesn't bother him whatsoever at that idea.
Okay. Is Evelyn joining us?
Yes.
Excellent.
Hesitantly.
Should I have them put out lunch?
No,
Okay.
I think we can cover that part.
Okay. So, like,
Evelyn
you guys,
looks sad because she wants cucumber sandwiches.
you guys go probably 30, 40 yards off in a direction where you could still see them, but not be heard. Like, they would have to have some, like, supernatural hearing.
Which they could.
They could, but
Yeah.
it's unlikely. To the best of your knowledge, they can't. So,
Hold tight. Evelyn, sorry.
For
Snapping at you.
Okay. So I was just gonna say, as we begin the conversation, I'm very focused on discussing the situation with you, Astor, and I'm not excluding Evelyn, but I'm also not hiding that I'm unhappy with how you were seemingly cordial with the Nazis. But so, given the situation we're in, I'm not like, screw you, like, do whatever, but I'm like not hiding the fact that I don't like it, but this is the situation we're in. We still need to get through this together.
exactly.
I don't say any of that, but just if you're picking up on like the actions that I'm taking
Gotcha.
or whatever, that's what you're going to pick up
Oh,
on.
okay.
Since we seem to, so this is in character to Astor, since we seem to be negotiating thus far, she specifically said she wants to experience it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that part as much because I don't think her heart's going to get weighed very well.
That's fair. There's also the intention part. So, certainly, if she doesn't come out alive, then we might have to worry about them thinking that we
Executed.
somehow killed her, yes. But it gets us one step closer, and as long as we're clear that she only gets the experience and nothing else, no material things which may or may not come of it, if nothing else, thus far at least, they've seemed to hold their word.
Well, in all fairness, I didn't really give him much option.
They seem to have enough men that if they just wanted to take us out in a hail of gunfire, that they might have chosen to.
Perhaps, but they know that we have something they want.
Correct. Which we can
Which-
still hopefully leverage and get out of here alive.
Which leads me to a question, Evelyn. If we destroyed that journal, how much of a loss would that be?
I haven't had time.
it's a
to-
copy of the journal. You made a copy. You promised me. You made it very specific. You were not bringing the original. You were bringing your notes and the copied parts that you could bring. You do
Right.
not have the original with you. So it's
Well, they wouldn't let me bring it with me, right?
right. So I'm just reminding you. That's all I'm
Right.
doing.
So how much would we lose? So this is, when we come into this dialogue and this conversation, that gets torched. Before we ever move forward.
we would lose all of our research up to this point. We would have to go back to England to get the journal and copy again.
I'm okay with that if that's what it takes. Because if we have that eradicated from the equation, they can't have it. They clearly don't have it. They found us by following us,
Everything we've
not by
learned-
discovering it.
Everything we've learned between England and now, if we get out of this alive, we'll still have that knowledge, and we can
Right.
record it.
So, I guess we wouldn't lose very much, just time.
I know you don't want to go down that route, and I understand. But ultimately, this is not something we can let fall into their hands. You still have it, right? It's still
Yes.
on you. It's still on her.
I pull it out of the back of my pants.
Okay.
So amongst ourselves, to be clear here, I would rather die than
Let
put
them-
more knowledge or power into their hands.
Agreed.
Okay.
It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and so we need to leverage our.
Then,
I look very carefully at Evelyn when she says, "Okay,
Then why are
that's
we-
genuine."
why are we letting her come with us? To the what?
Well, I haven't quite figured out what to do about that yet. Have you, Blake?
there's certainly, I think, more to gain for us to potentially allow her to come, for us to get the actual artifact that's a part of this Atlantean palladium, and to secure that for ourselves. Because while we have many pieces, we don't necessarily have all of the pieces that eliminate anyone else, including the Nazis, from eventually getting here and getting it anyways. And so I think if we can claim it is safer in our own hands than it is in the Duat.
Okay.
I don't think she'll go through the process and come out okay. And I'm going to be upfront with her about that.
Oh, that's fair.
You know,
I'm okay with that.
I'm going to let her know. That way, in front of her men, she makes that call.
Yeah.
So it's not going to save us. But it'll at least take some accountability off. And if they're going to stick to their word, perhaps that will be at least a gesture of good faith on our part.
Well, so then let's think about this. If we think she's going to go in there, because I don't imagine that she's going to heed our warning.
Oh, she'll go in.
Okay. She'll go in. She'll die. We'll come out. They will try to kill us, whether just to get what we have taken out because they take their word back, or because they think that we've killed her. If we don't think we can get out of it,
there's nothing to
at that
say that we
point,
succeed.
then we're dead anyways.
You didn't succeed before and you came back out. She and I didn't succeed before and we came back out. Correct? So we don't have to succeed.
So if she fails, she may just be ejected as opposed to killed.
Right. But that also means that we can be ejected.
Yeah.
We have the recipe. She doesn't. Incidentally, to make sure that stays that way, I would like Evelyn to make the concoction without others around.
Oh, yeah.
So they can know what's in it, because we're going to have to order it. We're going to have to get it.
They're not going to let us go get it ourselves.
Right. So, I mean, one of their
They don't get to know the
Egyptians-
process. Yeah.
But let Evelyn make it herself.
Right. Yeah.
So she'll have done it. She'll have done it once herself, and she had seen it. We could potentially replicate it, more than likely, if we need to.
Yeah. I guess
And
my
then we
major
just-
concern.
Then we destroy the journals.
Yeah.
Then we can go into the situation, go into the
The
Duat.
Duat together.
So I guess I'm more concerned about the back end. We go in. Let's say we succeed and we get the piece of the palladium and we get out.
We're not going to succeed either way. That's what I'm saying.
We're going to intentionally fail at some point. Then what's our end game? How do we get out of the situation?
We have to get on the back end first. We have
Then
to.
when do we go in to get the artifact?
We may need to come back. But we're
You
clearly.
think at some point they will let us go?
I don't. If they want what we have, if they bring us back, we're all armed. We sacrifice ourselves. They don't get it. Someone else will figure this out. Someone else back in England will figure this out. We may be the best. We may be the closest to it. But eventually. But either way, if we have destroyed their knowledge base to get to what they're going for, then we've done what we needed to do either way. So we're winning no matter what happens.
Okay, so I guess I'm
I don't know how the problem is on any end. They have a force we don't.
right.
They can easily eliminate us. I'm not going to go out willy-nilly, and I'm definitely not going to give them the information.
So so you want to see how they react to the first failure. How much information are we giving them by allowing them to do it?
What do we know about Apophis? Because we know Apophis is there still, right?
He's a serpent god.
That's all we know.
Well, so
He's the.
but potentially she's going to be kicked out or killed if she lies about why she's there. And
But that's
given her
that's also part of the end game for us. We can potentially learn why she needs to be there, why she's there,
right, because to get past that first test, she has to speak honestly about it.
and we're going to let her go first.
As long as we make that clear, I think that she should hold up to that. Then there's that game that I vaguely remember. And who knows if she can get past that or not. And then certainly the heart weighing, that would seem where she would definitely fail. So I don't think she's getting anywhere near Apophis.
Well, even in the battle with Apophis that we haven't done, she may not survive this.
I don't think she's going to get to Apophis because how could her heart possibly be weighed?
It depends on how they weigh it. I mean, it's perception. Perception is everything. I
guess it's fair to examine all possibilities.
My big gig is we have right now negotiating points. We have power right now. That's the most important thing I have to say is we have power right now. We have a way of destroying the journals before they get them. If that means we comply with a couple different parts and pieces, we can figure that out as we go. We have to get those destroyed.
Okay. They didn't take anything else from us, and we're smokers, so we have lighters.
Right.
So, does Evelyn smoke?
No, I don't.
Okay. Should we just torch the journals right now?
Could you make the concoction? Could she make the concoction?
She would have to roll knowledge to see if she could.
Without the journal? Mm-hmm. She could have a better chance with the journal?
Yeah.
Can I just take the pages with those notes on it?
Could.
The problem is the longer we let those exist, then the possibility increases that they get away from us. I think that's what we're trying
So
to
why
make
are
sure
we
doesn't
worried
happen.
about them getting the journal? How are they going to do that?
We're all going to go into this dream blacking out. So any
They
possessions
could
we
also
have,
just-
they have easy access to.
Why don't you just leave somebody behind?
We could do that too, but that gives us less power to get. We could do that. I thought about that
We're
at the
trying
beginning.
to fail anyway.
I mean, Brian has done this before. Has at least stayed behind.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay behind?
I'm certainly okay staying behind if we're not actually going to try to defeat Apophis. Because I told you before about how I just kind of willed myself out of it, at the right time.
Right. Okay. Then we destroy then as soon as we go in, we're going to leave the journals with you. You destroy them instantly.
Do you want to give me those pages now?
Isn't the point of leaving him behind to not have to destroy the journal?
No, I still want it gone. I don't want the possibility at all because it's one man versus an army. That's not really good
But
odds.
she did say the army would leave.
Still.
Wait.
Yeah, but they know where we're
who gets
at.
left behind? Like she said that only she wanted to go into the experience.
That's a
or whatever.
conversation you'll have to have with her because what she said was what she said. I mean, she said that she would send her men away,
All right.
and that is vague. But
But at the end of the day, it's an entire German army that's clearly able to trail us. They know who we are. They know what we're doing. The last thing in the world
barely
we
a
want to do.
battalion.
It doesn't matter if she knows
Against 3.
right. So keeping the journals to me seems like a really bad idea.
Okay.
Does my group agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I started off the conversation establishing that we would probably,
We're willing to
at least
die.
2, but at least 3 of us, we would rather just, TPK
Yep.
at this point than to be like, we're going to give anything that enables the Germans.
Yeah. So let's go back and clarify with her. Establish our conditions.
So our conditions are everyone but 3 men leave?
No, everyone but her leaves.
You think she'll agree to that?
I think we have the upper hand, yes.
What?
That's the negotiation part.
Well, okay. I guess I would like to establish that if they don't agree to that, are we going to budge on that? And if so, like if our starting offer is no men, and she says X men, at what point is our maximum? Like I trust you to negotiate the best deal we can get, but
Well, we want Cyclops, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe Wolverine.
Sorry, Phil, I
No, yeah.
couldn't help
When you said X-Men, that's all I could think.
I couldn't get out of my head.
I totally went like variable X, go on, and then like, oh no, it doesn't work, does it in this group?
No, N-men would have been good. But anyways, that's where we have to negotiate. We'll have to play by what she's going off of. We got to use what we have to really leverage. If she wants it as bad as she wants it, she was willing to work with us, who she knows we will kill
All right,
bad
so
guys.
I'll trust your negotiations there, Astor. So she sends the men away, and what are our other terms are?
She sends them in a way. She can experience. She can take nothing.
Takes no. So she already knows about the platinum. So if any piece of the platinum is acquired, we retain that.
We retain that.
Okay, and we know that we have no intention of acquiring that at this point. But we can make every impression that we're going to.
Right.
So those are our 2 terms.
That's the big ones.
Okay.
And then we're going to be, like I said up front, she's going to know that this process is potentially lethal.
Okay. Yep. And then, so just because I want to, I the player want to be clear. What? Well, I guess I should say this character. All right. So, as Blake, tell me again. What of the journals are we destroying at this moment?
Well, we're going to destroy everything but the page of the concoction. And I kind of have to talk about something. And
This is just Wilhelm's journal.
What?
What's his name?
Ehrlichman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's the copy. And I do have to confess something. I think I should stay out.
You should stay out of the dream.
Why?
Yeah.
So you're gonna stay behind.
Why?
Something hasn't been quite right since
Since the camp.
Nidicrus attacked me.
Like what?
Well, you and so all right, out of character. We're somewhat familiar with this because at the last session, we were present for a whole discussion about what came up. So I know at some point I talked to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
about, like 4 episodes, I know we talked about it, and then when we
Yeah,
went
well-
in there, there's the weighing thing. So we kind of have this idea that there's something.
Yeah, I just
Going on.
yeah, I don't
Okay.
I don't
So
know
you can
how
play
to
that any way you'd like to, but I want to say that your character should definitely be
I mean my character
aware that he has issues.
So I mean I can't explain what it is because I don't know what it is, but something isn't. It's like there's something in me that's not supposed to be. It doesn't have control. That's not. Don't want you to think that. But I trust my judgment in the weighing. I don't trust its.
So then Blake and I must go.
Yeah.
All right, so sorry.
And you
out of
guys have no
character.
reason to fail the weighing. I know Blake doesn't.
Right.
So out of character, I've seen Astor in combat when
Multiple times.
When?
At the car, at the mansion.
At the mansion.
When you
Not
guys
the party.
a little bit at the party
You
in England.
didn't fire a gun. You cast a spell.
I did do that. Yes, that's true.
At what? At which car?
When we lost, and I
what
got shot
about
a bunch.
attacking that guy?
I've
with
not
the
been great at
newspaper?
combat, from what you've
Yeah,
seen.
he's kind of terrible,
Yeah.
Okay.
but he is pretty sneaky.
He is, but if he's watching over us while we're sleeping, then I need him to be killy, not sneaky.
Well, if I can be sneaky, I can be killy.
He does have R2D2 on his side.
Especially if other people. Okay, sorry, in character. All right, that seems fair.
All right, so you guys are going to head back and talk to her?
Yes.
All right, that's a great place for us to wrap up this episode. We have other podcasts out there that we think you should be listening to, so check those out over at nerdsdom.com, and we will talk to you guys next week. And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us over on Facebook and Twitter at facebook.com/nerdsdomain and twitter.com/nerdsdomain. You can also check out our site at nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Passion Nerdly for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain and check out our shirts at TeePublic.